How it was founded, I was working in a hospital and saw people, elder people, falling through the cracks in their health care. And so I decided that I would like to do something I've always wanted to do, and that was be a missionary, but never thought I'd be a missionary here in the United States, in my own neighborhood. And that's what I did. Is I left my job as a RN in a hospital, and I stepped out into the neighborhood. And I had a friend of mine who was in a Bible study, 2 friends. And then we talked about it, and then we got a doctor who joined us. And he was a consultant for us. Got us hooked up with a Medicare agency that taught us all about home care. And then I took a step in faith and said, okay, we'll try it. And a local pastor invited us into the church, and we went to live in the upper room, which was really kind of cool. And we were in a Methodist church to start. Then we went to a Presbyterian church, who had more room for us as we grew. And then I wound up in a doctor's office for about 5 or 6 years. We outgrew that space, and now we're in our present location. And it keeps growing in spite of myself. When we started out, there was just 2 of us giving baths, and all of a sudden it caught on. And so we knew we needed more helping hands. So I had a friend, in fact, she's still the gal who is Mrs. Swanson, who is teaching. She's a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree in nursing. And we sat down and we put a curriculum together, and then we began training our field staff. And as it's grown, we just keep adding more and more classes to our curriculum, and more curriculum to our classes, I should say. And it's really grown over the last 25 years. We've been teaching for at least 24 of those 25, 26 years. And I really believe in my heart that education is the key to good home care. Actually, the key of education is to any good care. The more people know, the better that they can treat and take care of those out in the homes. So we've even added more to our 80 hours of state mandated hours of training to an additional 17 hours to deal with people with intellectual disabilities. It's called an empowerment class. So it's a ladder of education, and it encourages our staff to keep trying. And we have longevity. A lot of our workers stay because they know they're going to have further education.
Something that sets us apart from other home care agencies is that we can take care of the elderly and the ID client. An ID client, has been with their parent all of their life, and now that they're getting a little bit older, and some of their parents are getting a little bit of dementia because they're getting older, they've been together all of their life. And so now to separate them and to put their mother in a nursing home and to put the ID client into some kind of a home, it's really difficult to separate them because they've been together all their lives. We have special training where we teach our aides how to take care of the ID client, and they already are trained on how to take care of the elderly. So they're qualified to take care of both, and they go in the home and they take care of both of the clients at the same time, keeping the parent and the child together, which sets us apart from other agencies, because most other agencies they're just trained for either the elderly or the ID. They're not trained to do both.
Yeah, that kind of sprung out a few years ago. We decided that we were sending them to other places to learn CPR and first aid, and we decided that one of our employees we trained, Judy Dietrich, to take the class and the training, and now we do it in-house. And people come from other parts of the community now to have that education as well. It's a little moneymaker, not a big one, but it helps people learn basic life support. Common Bond came through another grant, through the Robert Wood Foundation, I would say about 15 years ago. And what that focused on was the volunteer part of community care. And we had a very sweet lady, it was called the Cheerful Little Earful, and she would come in, she was retired, and she would call all of our shut-ins. And slowly we just increased that volunteer time from the Cheerful Little Earful to meal preparation, providing meals throughout the year, to volunteers going out and doing some light housework, maybe helping somebody pay their bills or put out the trash. Simple things like that. We've had young people come in and do some volunteer care in the homes, that they were capable of cutting the lawn or trimming the bushes. And that's really grown out of the Common Bond ministry, and actually Wheels has become part of that Common Bond volunteer because of volunteer drivers.
Common Bond is the volunteer arm of community care. It recruits and trains volunteers to provide non-medical services. We have a transportation arm of Common Bond that's called Wheels for Independence. They will take people to medical appointments, grocery shopping, and we also do home delivery of meals. There's no fees or costs attached to it. We just ask that with the driving, that people give donations to the drivers to help assist in paying their gasoline costs. Keeping the elderly home and out of a nursing home, it costs about 1/3 of the price of a nursing home. Keeping the elderly or anyone in their home in a familiar surrounding, people thrive better. They tend to live longer. They are in familiar surroundings where they get home-cooked meals, and people just don't get as confused as being put in strange places.
You know, all of us have a mission in life. I really believe I've found mine, and I know that God has given me the strength to do it for the last 26 years. And I feel as though when you're doing His will, you can't lose. And He's been with me the entire time. I could sit here and tell you stories of people that came and walked into my life during these last 26 years that answered questions that I had no idea of what the answer would be, which really confirmed to me that this was a good thing. And really the key is this: with the way we're going with our health care, we've got to come back to the community being involved, whether or not it's the churches, it's civic organizations, it's local Rotaries, that we have to work together as a community. No longer can we depend on the state to take care of our health care needs. And I believe the community care is way ahead of themselves in that piece, and I'm hoping that it can be accepted. In fact, I spoke to the Secretary of Aging in Pennsylvania, and he would like to duplicate our program. So I can see if I were to go tomorrow, the ministry would continue.